Hi, today we are going to discuss the challenges that Nick has faced in the academic setting due to his disfluency. So, my name is Sarah Torres, and I will be interviewing Nick. Introduce yourself.
My name is Nick. I'm Nick Lepek. I'm almost 20 years old now. I'm a sophomore in college, and I've been I'm stuttering since I was like 5.
Okay, so my first question I have for you is how does having the stutter impact your academic performance?
I mean, it affects it more greatly than most people think. Like people go to school, if they're not too worried about much, but every day is a struggle for us with stuttering because it's like everything scares you because you have so many interactions that people don't really think about. Really, it mostly affects like on presentations, like or speaking like in front of the class in any situation because cause making like for speeches like I was usually like a time limit, so like it makes it hard to be in the time limit because it's there's so many different variables can throw it off. Like if you can have a good day, if not make it, and then not have a bad day, and it all goes way over time, So it's hard to gauge and it's unpredictable, really.
How does it affect your social interactions with your peers, with friends, or even with your teachers?
Of the good friends, like it doesn't make a difference, because they're not the friends that I have, the people that don't judge as much as other people that aren't my friends, So, speaking of teachers is kind of hard because socially, like the authoritative figures, makes stutterers more nervous to talk than just like regular friends. So they they're more tough.
What about like your classmates?
Like one-on-one, you mean?
Or like group presentations or anything like that?
A group presentation is a little bit easier, but it goes back to judging. Like when people know that you stutter, they'll treat you differently, and it makes you feel like you're not a normal person, even though you're normal. But your brain is normal. You can think of everything fine, but you just can't say it.
What is something you wish your teachers did differently in their classroom?
When I was like a younger, like middle school, the worst thing ever was the worst day of the whole year was always the first day because everybody, all the teachers like want you to introduce yourself and it's like you get to stand up and like say something about you that the kids don't really care about anyway, but really like that the first interaction, like you you really judge somebody off like the first thing that you see them do or say, So like when kids like see you get up and talk and like you have when you're obviously having a problem speaking, they're all they like immediately they right away label you like as a weirdo. Something's wrong with this guy. Don't talk to him, So like it can make friendships hard and get the way can get in the way of your friendships as you could have made, but just having that first impressions ruin it sometimes.
Okay, so then what do you think would be a way to fix that without having to introduce yourself at the beginning of classes?
One of my teachers, also had in 8th grade, I really liked his approach to it. He would pass everybody like a note card, and then he would like I'll try to write your name, a couple questions, like the favorite TV show, something about you that's cool, Then you pass them all back, and the teacher himself would introduce like you to the class, kind of, so it took some of the pressure, a lot of pressure off, and it made it so much more fun, I think, because he would make comments and it would be funny,
Okay.
that was that I really love because I mean, there's not too much else besides introducing yourself. Maybe I'll maybe give some kids the option to be introduced, or something.
What is a tip you have for teachers who may have a student who stutters in their classroom?
Um, Try to make them feel as welcome as you can. I'll, I'll make sure that I'll make sure the stutterers they're make sure that they're comfortable with what you're asking them to do. Because I've had teachers that will they'll force you to do the presentation, like even if like you're having a rough time or something, they don't care, So you have to understand those students a lot more than you would regular students. I mean, it's just fine, but I mean, like in high school and stuff, like you have an like OEP like I did too. So I mean, they know going in like you have a problem, so they shouldn't play dumb or something like that. They shouldn't turn their back on you.
What can teachers do to give you a better education while in their classroom?
Better education. It goes back to the stresses and like the nervousness of having like popcorn reads and um, discussions in class because when you have those things, like I know personally, like it made me not want to go to school because I knew that I would have to talk and knew that I'd be embarrassed, that I knew that I'd be laughed at and bullied. So so I've been on multiple accounts where I would fake being sick just so I can avoid like whatever it was that was gonna hurt me that day. So I'll find a way to I'll make sure everybody isn't like feeling an outsider. Like nobody should have to go to school every day and feel nervous and not like an outsider. I don't think.
So, if you have any other tips for teachers, either on bullying or how to talk to them, or any other tips on just what they can do to make you feel more comfortable and more welcome in their classroom.
The biggest thing I would say for sure is like, if for some reason like teachers like most of the time they don't want to stand up for stutterers, like because I've had so many accounts where I would be laughed at for saying something like in my seat or up in front of the class, and the kids would be laughing, and the teacher would just go, "Oh, okay, settle down." They wouldn't take it seriously. They don't realize how much that hurts the student. Like they need to make those kids that are laughing really make them feel bad for what they did, or at least take them out in the hall. Don't just blow that off. I mean, because if they don't know what it's like, unless you have a stutter, you don't know how much it hurts to be misunderstood and be laughed at it. For it. So teachers need to stand up. I think for their students that are having a rougher time.
And for you, for communication with your teacher, what do you think have some do's or don'ts that they should take into consideration when communicating with you?
Maybe just have like a little check-in like once a month, like or if they're seeming like more sad than usual. Really just the main thing is keep an eye on them. And make sure they're not being bullied. Because if nobody stands up for them, if they're not going to come to school, they're not going to get good grades because they're not going to school. So it's up to the teacher to make sure they can have as much a good a chance as everybody else does.
Okay. One more question I have for more tips on teachers.
Hmm.
Um, what is something that teachers could do either in your younger part of your life or even now today that would either have made your life easier then
Okay.
or now?
Yeah. Um, when I was in, because I started studying like before, like around preschool. I started, and it was really, really bad. Like I think I couldn't say hi. I couldn't say I was hungry. Like it's my mom even, she wouldn't even know that I was starving to death. But um, but now it's so much better. But then I was teachers need to take it more seriously. When somebody has a stutter, like they have to really tell the parents like to they need to get this resolved like, when they're young because it's so much easier to fix a problem like that when it's fresh. Like if you're like 7 or 8 and you can catch it then, like it's so much easier to resolve than if you're 25 and it's really internalized. It's like when we started for 15 years, that's all you know. So like it's hard to change. If that is like changing your life because it's such a part of your life, it's hard to take it out. So like it's easier to get that right in the bud. So they need the teachers need reach out to parents and like tell them like the intensity of of, like how important it is
To go
to
see
really
a
take it seriously and not to say don't. People have told me so many times to say, "Oh, he'll grow out of it," and whether it is true, sometimes like you don't rely on that. You just can't rely on that. So like I mean, if you don't consume enough, like it makes it hard enough. It makes it much harder. Plus the possibility that you won't ever be able to change it because it's in his in people's minds like it gets so like oh that's normal for me. It's like it's your brain is very powerful and it's hard to change it after it's had like its mind made up.
And I know you mentioned one thing to me before the interview about like teachers who try to like basically coach you
Mm-hmm.
or tell you just to like slow down and relax. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
I just hate when people try to tell you what to do when they don't know how it is. They don't know how to. They don't know what it's like, so they can't give you good advice. I don't think. Like you don't have a. If you don't play football, you're gonna have a coach that's never played football in his life. Well, why would you have a coach like that? So like, it's the same exact thing. Why doesn't it not apply to stuttering? If you don't know like what you're talking about, don't just talk like. I mean, because you can say slow down or relax. Just breathe all you want. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't make any difference at all. But they need to have somebody that knows what they're doing, that's broken a stutter before, or helped a lot of people. Or you just gotta find a way. There's always a way if you can find it.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for your time and for answering all my questions. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.